Good evening and welcome to the April 21st Planning Board meeting. Nancy, please take attendance.
Commissioner Nierenberg. Present. Commissioner Charamella.
Present.
Commissioner Caliano. Here. Commissioner Gorman.
Here.
Chairman Leo.
Present. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes held on March 17th?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. On the agenda this evening, we have only one item. It's 181 Marbledale Road. Please come up.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I'm Leonard Brandis, the architect for Rocco's Car Wash and Auto Center. And we're back here before the board. We had some questions about sidewalks. Take the mic. And in terms of sidewalks and the curb cuts that are there. And what I did provide you, you should have in your folder at this point, there are drawings that show the new curb cuts. We did decide we can, because this is a passenger loading section, we don't need to have cars going on that, so we're able to add a little bit of extra sidewalk going through without a curb cut. So we have reduced it from being a full 75-foot curb cut to being a couple of smaller curb cuts. It is not unusual, as the other drawing that I had submitted to you, for there to be a lot of curb cuts in this neighborhood. This is our curb cuts over here that we're recommending, but you can see next door is all curb cuts across the street, large curb cuts, all through here, 99-foot curb cut over here. There are some rather sizable curb cuts besides ours, so it's not unusual. There are some photographs of the curb cuts for you to see as well. I don't know if anybody had a chance to go to the area. So we did map out the sizes and where they are and the amounts.
So Leonard, as a result of this modification, how many parking spaces will the street lose?
We're not losing any
You're not losing any parking spaces?
There's no parking spaces right now there.
On the street? It looks like from your photograph, there's parking spaces in front of the building.
In front of Rocco's,
Yeah, there's like right over
There's-
here and over here. Right?
there is one. Just
One.
actually, there's one spot.
So we'll be losing one parking space.
But we are adding 2 parking spaces over here. We're adding
Well, you go from a street parking,
Right.
parking.
I know.
Yeah.
2 private parking.
And that one parking space, is that typically a customer of yours? Do you find that that tends to be a customer of yours, Mr. Caccioli?
Yes. Basically, people pull up, they stop there, they come on inside.
Okay, so
Don't you,
with these additional 2 spots that you're adding, Mr. Brandis, you know,
Well-
in the best possible light, would it be fair to say that that one spot that's on the street that Mr. Cacciola acknowledges as more often being one of his customers translate to one of those parking spaces in front of the facility?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Actually, both spaces will be used for his facility, the new spaces that we've added here. So we have-
Okay, so
So
I'm
we'll
not,
be taking care of that one space that is being used for his customers.
all right, so without being thrilled that we're losing a spot on the street, because we can never be thrilled about that, there's a little bit of a trade-off here that seems to work in a little bit of our favor. Yes?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay.
I totally agree.
still on a parking issue. Where you have the word potted plants near building tip, right? What is from the curb cut to the other curb cut? What is that dimension? Do you have any idea?
From here to here,
No, further north.
Further north,
Yeah, from
There
there,
is-
from there to the other curb cut.
well, in reality, if you look at the photograph, it's actually, it's all paved over and there really is no, it's supposed to have a small section of about 4 feet, but there is immediately right here another driveway that's attached to this. And that driveway right now is basically it's almost one continuous driveway now from here across here and across this building because there's another garage opening over here. There's another garage door. So this is basically only has like a 4-foot section in between, and then you have ours that we're adding over here, another section over here without. It's almost all parking in that area.
No, I understand.
driveway.
I'm just, have some reservations about losing that parking space. I just really,
Still.
yeah. I know you're, you know,
The previous application had
No,
some
I
parking
totally-
spaces as well. That was approved.
totally understand it, okay. And now in retrospect and looking at it, I just, I'm rethinking the project,
Right.
rethinking what you're proposing. And, you have plenty of parking on site, however, we're losing at the street level, so that's my concern. Well, yes, you may be using it 80% of the time, however, it's a public parking space.
And there are parking spaces across the street, quite a few over there as well, and those are metered parking spaces
According to
now.
other business owners on Marbledale Avenue, there aren't many parking spaces, and it's becoming an issue. And you've been part of some of these meetings over here where
Yes.
the public has made those comments. So, everyone's very sensitive about losing anything on Marbledale at this time. So I just want to be cognizant of that, so.
Well, this is still within the industrial area. It's not really with much residential there, or the other businesses are. I mean, across the street, it's
Yeah, but
all.
However, it's all street parking, that's the issue. The issue is.
Well, no, across the street, I'm just saying there's a huge driveway across there as well. I mean, there's nothing there. That whole road is a driveway going into his parking lot. And
I get it. Again, my concern is that we are losing an additional parking space. Gary, are there any issues with that? I'm just curious.
Again, you previously approved these.
No, I get that
So-
part.
It's up to the board, but it's, again,
But in reality, this is a new application, though, right?
It's an amendment.
it's an amendment
It's
to
an
the
amendment.
application. Yeah, I think that's a better way to say it.
Okay.
Would do you recall if we were gonna lose this many in the?
Well, the footprint hasn't changed. And again, now that, we have all these projects on Marbledale, everyone's very
see, I
concerned
see.
about the
Well-
parking. Here's another situation where we're starting to lose another parking space, so that's my only concern.
What were your hours going to be again?
Well, 10 to, not,
10:30 to 10.
it's the evening, yeah. That's a
Probably
long day.
7:30 to 9:30.
At night?
It's a long day. And the parking.
So the reason I ask, and this is a stretch, and I know it's a stretch, not that you should shut down sooner than 9:30, but it's possible that spot that you've got in the front of your building now, the proposed spot, can literally be occupied by one of his customers all the way up to 9:30 at night, as in that trade-off doesn't end soon in the day or early evening, it ends later at night. It's a time issue. It's probably too technical and picayune an angle to be looking at this from, but if his parking space in front of his proposed facility were to open up, say 5 o'clock in the early evening, because he'd close the facility at 5, that I would suggest maybe you'd have other people, maybe you couldn't do that, going for other facilities,
We don't want to
parking
close the
on
business,
his
you know.
pad.
It's hard to close the business at 5 o'clock when
I
we
know.
have people coming to pick
Yeah,
up.
that's why
and
I'm asking, what were the hours? Was there any, do you understand what I'm saying, Gary?
See what you're saying?
I mean, I know I'm not making it crystal clear, but if that were an earlier close, which I
Yeah,
have
but-
every reason to think you won't do for a lot of good reasons, that could open up that parking space, but that opportunity is not gonna present itself.
Correct.
It's
But I
private
also
property as
think
well,
there's
so.
one car,
Yeah,
there's one
I know.
car that's not going to change the culture or the whatever of Marbleville.
And it's not a full 18 feet either at this time. Right now, there's only about 14 feet there, them cars parked there. But it's not a full space even, legitimately according to the town size of parking spaces. It's a small area.
As I remember, that parking space has been there ad nauseam since he's been open before, so there's no real change. And you have
Yes.
a time-limited,
That's a driveway.
time-limited sign throughout that whole street. don't you?
Yes, we do.
No, it's just a plot plan.
But what
The
if I
arrow
move
goes
this
there.
over here? Would that do it? Move this over here?
No.
Would that-
Okay, continue, please.
Excuse me?
Continue.
Another question that you had asked about, you wanted some larger samples of the colors. I got a larger board. I also have some to hand out to you. Two of the color ones. I also have some enlarged of the front elevation with the colors listed. So you have that for your records as well, that everybody gets.
I think we're sharing.
Are we sharing? Oh, fine, no problem. I didn't know that. These are
Mary
the
needs one?
colors off of this? These are colors off of this?
I'm working the colors
He doesn't, oh, those are the samples. Those are
and
the
the
ring samples.
enlarged samples that you had asked for right here.
Yeah,
So we are looking at
She looks really nice.
these two colors working together and creating the banding on top. I think we have created a fairly nice looking building here. We're going to be using the same color paint for the wood trim. We want to use that on the bottom. That will be some trim on there, so we'll be using the dark paint with that. And I think we have accent this building to make a very nice auto center. I like it.
And the black and white
My
squares.
other note from last month's meeting was
It's
drainage.
like a racing flag.
You had asked where the drainage is going, that those tanks are going?
Yeah.
Yes, I did hand that to you in the last, that proposal. They're right over here, these 3 tanks. And we wanted to keep that in that buffer zone so that we don't have to, if there are problems, that we don't have to dig up the driveway or the sidewalk in the parking area, that it is within the Graston area.
Another question, any lighting on the building or anywhere around the perimeter? And in which direction does the lighting, is it aimed?
Well, the only lighting we will have is probably some floodlights from the building itself. We're not looking to create this is not a public parking lot where people are going to be coming in and out, so we only need some minor lighting for people to come in and out. So, after hours, it's not open really.
Well, again,
There will be some lighting for people going around. There will be some lights on the building.
And at night, they will be aimed in which direction?
They'll be aiming basically down. They're from here. Now back over here, keep in mind if you look at the photographs, that's a cliff that goes up about 60 feet. So we're not really going to be aiming up in the sky. We are aiming in the back of the building. So we're not going to be blinding any residences or other businesses.
Okay, does the facility make a sound? Does it make noise as it's being used? Decibel levels?
yeah, the vacuums. will make
There's
them-
vacuum machines that we do have over here that'll be used when it's operating, that people can use. They're not high decibel. Once again, this was approved as a car wash in the past. This is already, which is an amendment to the plans.
I understand.
And they're going to have to comply with all the village
Whatever
codes
codes.
regarding noise ordinances too.
Right, because we're going to hear from the people that live up that cliff about noise. We're going to hear from them about light. And I'd like to head this off at the pass if we can possibly do this.
Since you-
Have to comply with the village ordinances for the lighting and the noise.
Okay.
We're specific on the lighting.
If I don't raise it, I regret it. I'm raising it.
Can the tanks be so close to the building? I thought there was a minimum 10-foot distance from the footing.
These aren't dry wells. This is holding tanks.
Just holding tanks.
These are holding tanks. Dry wells would have to be 10 feet away minimum.
And these holding tanks, you're discharging that into the main sewer, right?
No, this is recirculation.
Oh, the recirculation for the water.
It's recirculation of the water for the car wash itself.
Right.
We have of water being held in those tanks.
And then where are they, how are they disposed of or drained?
Well, in the end, they do go into the town sewer. That's standard
So
for
it's
car
set-
washes.
So
But
it's set up to drain into the sewer upon release?
no, that's after it's being used, and it's been used several times, the water, because we recycle the water. It gets filtered and drained and reused.
Uh-huh.
And that's why we needed the 3 tanks, because it goes through a cycle. And then after that, after it goes through a second round, I think it's 2 rounds it goes through, then it has to, It's continuation, but then there is a certain amount that does get ejected.
I guess my question is trying to understand the tank system. Is it held within the tanks up to a certain point when the tanks self-release into the sewer system, or is it continually releasing into the sewer system?
No, it is, well, no, only used, excuse me? Just the excess, of the used excess will get disposed into the sewer system.
So where does the
If there is
non-excess
from
go?
rainwater and things like that, we already worked out that we're gonna be working through,
that's all
with
gonna
Rolf
be
Engineering,
recycled through?
and that will get recycled, and that will have a drywall system that Rolf Engineering has to approve. That we've already gone through with the town and with them. So we've already discussed that with them.
Have you done the calculations for the drainage, for the site drainage?
They're gonna get recalculated when we finalize it with them, because they had questions again, so we figured, let's work it through, and everybody will be happy. And I believe that's, we have worked with Bill on that as well, we've discussed that.
Okay, let me go over this one more time. Those are holding tanks that hold the water for the purpose of recycling.
Car wash.
The car wash.
The water.
Right, I understand. The purpose of those tanks is that they hold to recycle.
Correct.
So unless there's an
They-
excess in those tanks, or the tanks can no longer hold what is being generated by the facility, only then will the excess water go into the
Yes.
village drainage sewer system.
Correct.
And what's in the tanks gets recycled for purposes of the car wash.
Just for the car wash itself.
How
It's not
long-
potable
How long
water,
does that
it's-
water last in that,
Special machineries that filter it every day. It lasts a long time.
Do you have a time? How many uses? Like, is it 10 uses, 100 uses? Do you have any-
I guess my question is, and maybe you don't know the answer, is, do you ever refill those tanks?
Just when it needs to be.
And what do you do with the water that's in them?
Constantly used.
I mean,
What
water
if you're
does get,
refilling,
water
you got-
does get, the water from the
Maybe you should
wash
explain the
doesn't,
system.
the water itself does not get, does not get, every drop of water does not come back into the tanks, obviously. What cars will come out, there's water dripping, there's evaporation, there's all sorts of things going on with the water. It gets onto the sponges get replaced. So the water's getting used, and we do have to replenish it. So that is what's happening.
But are you simply replenishing because it fell to 2/3 level and you're gonna fill it up another 1/3, or is it down to 0 and you're gonna refill the entire
No, it just
tank?
continuously replenishes. It's like there's a balance on it that it keeps a certain level of water.
Okay.
You can manage
Doesn't-
it. Every cycle, they probably lose 5% of water, and you have
Right.
to refill to maintain a certain level.
And that's it?
I-
So
I'm-
you're
I'm
never
guessing,
dumping
so you-
3 whole tanks of
No,
water?
no, that's too
That's
expensive.
really that's obviously
We
the
do
question.
pay for water, and that's why the whole recycling system comes in, because we don't want to keep paying for the water. That gets very expensive.
Okay,
And
now I understand it, thank you.
you're welcome. Any other questions?
Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Any questions, Jared?
Actually, I do. I know you have a lot of shrubs from, the diagrams and all, they look pretty good. Do we have names for these
Mhm.
shrubs yet?
There.
Yes, you did, and if you needed more copies,
I
I have
see.
some more copies
All
here.
right, so you did select a type. And you know that these species will survive in this
Yes.
location?
Yes.
With minimal care?
From last time.
Minimal care throughout winter and the heat of the summer?
Yes. It will be taken care of.
Okay. I give it to you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Anything else?
No, but I didn't see it, so can I
Oh.
see it?
Nice enough.
Oh, these are just the grasses.
On your pictures,
Ray, open your
are
mic,
you
please.
planning on using LEDs in the future?
Yes, we do plan on using LEDs, absolutely. I'm doing that in every one of my projects now.
A lot of people don't like
We've
it.
changed a lot.
Like what we usually see in here, so okay.
He's got the river bridges too. I like it.
Very pretty.
That's it? That's it?
Yeah.
You good? Any questions?
No.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion for secra. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Chairman, the public hearing was still open. You continued it last
Oh,
time,
sorry,
so
okay.
you may want to see if there's anyone from the public
Okay.
here, and if not, then you would close your public hearing, and then you're free to do it.
Okay, I make a motion to open the public hearing, reopen the
Well,
public
it's-
hearing?
It's open already, so it's still continued, so.
Okay, is anyone here from the public this evening wish to speak on this application? Since there's no one here this evening to speak on this application, I make a motion to close the,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, again, I make a motion for secra. Have a second?
Second.
Se-
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'd like to make the following resolution. The following resolution decision of the Planning Board of the Village of Tuckahoe, whereas the applicant Grazia Realty LLC has previously approved site plan dated May 15, 2012 for the premises located at 181 Marbledale Road, Tuckahoe, New York, whereas the applicant Grazia Realty LLC is seeking revisions to its previously approved site plan with this application. Whereas the revised plan has reduced the scope of the project that has already been approved by this board, in that there will be only one level of parking and the convenience store has been removed. It is therefore resolved that the application for a revised site plan for a repair shop and car wash is approved. Every presentation of the application made in its application and presentation will be a condition of approval board. Any deviation from the representation made shall be cause for the revocation of said approval conditions. 1, without further planning board approval, the applicant may not utilize the proposed parking spaces to be located on site as a commercial parking facility for the parking of vehicles or for the parking of commuter vehicles. 2, that the applicant shall at all times comply with the directives, recommendations, and alike of Dolph Rothfeld Engineering and the village engineering consultant. 3, that the applicant shall plant trees, seedlings in the amount, locations, and frequency to be determined by the building inspector at the rear of the property line of the premises. 4, that at all times, the car wash in its operation shall be at least one attendant at the entrance to the car wash structure and one attendant at the exit of the car wash structure to ensure safe, proper ingress and egress from the car wash. Nancy, please take a vote. I need a second, please. Have-
Commissioner Narenberg.
Four.
Commissioner Chairmella.
4.
Commissioner Caliano.
4.
Commissioner Gorman.
4.
Chairman Leo.
4. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Since we have no other business, I make a motion to close the public hearing, to close the planning board meeting. Second, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everybody.